tell you that everything's going down, but to give you the confidence
They're
that
trying
they're
to
going to
figure
take
out a
care of
way.
it, and that it's
They're
just not
trying
going
to
to be
tell
that
us
bad.
that.
Now, there's only about 4 or 5 minutes left on this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most important part. This is the part that you really want to listen to, because it solidifies pretty much everything that a lot of people have been saying about the banking system and about who's going to pay for it the next time that the banking system goes down.
First of all, I'd like to praise the FDIC for its unrelenting pressures to have more disclosure under the actual public reports. I think they have been very helpful. Second, I guess I am a bit pessimistic about your ability to communicate with the people who really need to know in terms of a crisis. And this is partly from my experience of teaching this stuff. There was a lot of interest just after the crisis. It's dwindled over time, and so people are sort of less and less interested in getting into the nitty-gritty and some of the really interesting developments. So I think your strategy ought to be to disclose as much as possible to people who professionally need to know about it.
Disclose as much as possible to people who are professionals and need to know about it. Pretty much means not to you.
And that would certainly include the ratings agencies and the people within the banks who are responsible for these judgments.
Of course, be transparent to the money changers and the rating agencies, the same entities that created the last crises, but don't be transparent to the people whose money it really is.
And simply a publicly available, a place where people can go if they need to know more. Because we're dealing with a society where people are getting their information in tweets. There's just no patience, I think, for going through the elaborate and careful planning that has gone on. It should be there. It should be accessible when people need to know. But I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, he's right. Most people will not sit through 3 hours of this stuff, and they won't go and look up things. Like during this presentation, there was some word that I just didn't know what the heck did it mean, or acronyms, so I looked it up. But how many people are going to do that? I'm not really putting the blame on people that can't do that, because most people are just trying to keep their heads above water. They don't have time to come home after working a 16-hour shift and be looking at a 3-hour presentation and then trying to dissect it as to seeing how it is that things are going to go the next time that there's a global financial crisis, which I believe is sooner than later. So they put this information out there, but they know who their customers are. And they make this information available in a way that someone that's reading through it, that's your average 9-to-5er or maybe 2-jobber nowadays, really won't be able to decipher exactly what it is that they're saying. However, these big companies, these big corporations, these big banks that have their fleet of lawyers, they can, because that's what they pay them for. It's just the cost of doing business.